I think this is especially crucial for people like me who tend to be really hard on themselves. I was really hard on myself much of my life. And that meant I often put other people on a pedestal. And so if you have a tendency to do that, like this is definitely an area to pay attention to, is how quick our meaning making takes whatever we think we see in someone and turn it into this beautiful story about how wonderful and great they are, which maybe they are. And also maybe they're not. And time will tell. But we tend to not give ourselves that time to discover and really collect the data and really see the person clearly until we're months and years down into this relationship and wondering like, how did I miss all those red flags?
Yeah, totally. I want to give an alarming example.
Okay.
And this is, so the meaning maker, I think you mentioned, is so important, especially when we're swept away by chemistry or with our yearning for romance. We slot things into categories. We make things mean things because we need it to work out, right? So I remember I was dating this guy and he told me, he said with his words that he cleans the whole house every Sunday. And I was like, oh, thank goodness, a clean man. Let me tell you, this was the least clean person I've ever encountered. Didn't even know it was possible. It's true. He did clean on Sundays, but that's because for the whole rest of the week, he went friggin' bonkers making a mess beyond anything you could ever imagine or that I could have imagined. Here's my projections happening in real time right now. I'm like, no one could have imagined how messy this guy was. Meanwhile, there's people who live in worse mess all the time and they're like, this guy's pretty clean, right? This is how the meaning maker works. We're slotting people into our personal categories, which have nothing to do with what the other person actually does or actually means. I will add here also that cleaning on Sundays happened using whole bottles of bleach. This guy would pour a whole bottle of bleach on the floor and then like he mopped it up with the towels, with the lovely Ralph Lauren towels and ruined the towels. I'm like, couldn't even have conceived of this. But my projection told me this is a tidy man because he told me he cleans on Sundays. He also cleaned naked. I could do without that. There's good naked and bad naked in my projection of the world. And this did not fit into any of my pre-established categories. And that's what projections do. That's the projection trap. This is why you have to hang around and watch and observe what's real instead of the story that we make up in our minds.
I'm curious what happened for you once you discovered that the reality didn't match the meaning you gave to his words.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing outwardly happened, but inside a bunch of stuff went on lockdown. So here's a larger, more consequential projection I was coming into this with. And I can't remember if I mentioned this last episode, but if you've been around for a while, you know that I was an accidental lesbian for 15 years as a result of a bunch of projections, at the root of which was mostly men are pigs, and I can't trust my own feelings, so I can't trust a man with my feelings. And it was easier to be with women, you know? So I came into this with the story, men are pigs, and so much investment in this relationship with this man. So when he did something that seemed like completely unacceptable to me, what my brain said was, I guess this is how dudes are, the end.
Yes, we normalize it, right? And one thing I've always tried to use as a check for myself is imagine that a great friend of yours called out and named some of this behavior in this person that you're dating. Would I or would you begin with a yeah, but in their defense? And that's always very telling. It's always good data. Like, I would love to be in a relationship with someone where the yeah, buts in their defense aren't even a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If a friend told me some of these things, I would not say, oh, well, you know, probably it's fine. I would have said, what? No. Very, very clear when it's directed to someone I love. But to myself,
Right.
well, I didn't love myself.
So when a friend tells you about an interaction they have with someone, it would cause alarm bells, right? If a friend told you this thing, you'd be freaking out.
Yeah.
But what happens if a friend says, hey, Steph, the dude you're dating is not a clean man. He's actually a little bit unhinged and lives like a pig all week, and then has this insanely, I don't even know what to call it, cleaning routine on Sundays? Would that wake you up to it, do you think? Or would you have come up with a yeah, but for him?
This is actually hard to look at because realistically at that point, I was so invested in this working. I had so little value for myself. I needed it all from this relationship. I probably would have cut that friend out of my life.
I feel that inside.
Right?
Because I think so many of us can relate.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, being challenged by a friend in that way when we're so invested in this relationship turning out well.
And then after the fact, once we've finally broken up with this person, we're like, why didn't anybody tell me?
I've never said that before. I don't know what you're talking about.
Jeez.